So first take a ball of tan polymer clay and just start shaping it into a bun shape. This will be your regular panda biscuit without the ears. So now that you're finished, make sure that it has no cracks or anything in it and that it's the right shape for the bun and that you're happy with it. So now take another block of tan clay and start conditioning it. After you condition it, you should get one big ball and two small balls. So take your big ball and just start forming the head of the panda. This should be kind of similar to your first bun shape, just more head-like. It should be a little bit more tapered at the bottom. Once again, make sure that there are no cracks or any dents in it. You want it to be as perfect as possible. It's okay if there are a little bit of brown parts in your clay because you'll be coloring it with chalk later. So now I'm just taking a paintbrush and making an indent on both sides near the top. This is where the ears are going to start. And then I'm going to make an indent in between those two, and so that's going to be like the top of the head. So it should look like this, and then just start squeezing it together so that the bumps are not so obvious. So now take your one of the small balls of clay and start forming it into an ear shape. You should have two tabs on each side, so it's easier for blending. And then just make it round and make sure it looks the way you want it to. So now take your ear and just put it in the little indent that you put on the side of the head and just wrap it around the head so it goes onto top and just kind of push it in. So then after you've done that, then just do it with the other ear. And this is what it should look like once you've done that. And then take your blending tool and your TLS, and I just like dipping my blending tool into the TLS and putting a small coat near the ears and just easily blending it in little by little. You don't want to be too harsh, otherwise it'll have a big dent in it. And so just continue blending until the ears are part of the head. So keep on blending and slowly smoothing out the TLS. You don't want clumps everywhere because then it'll look really bad. And so just keep on smoothing it out and smooth out little imperfections around the head as you go also. So set aside your blending tool and just smooth out the rest with your fingers. Smooth out any imperfections and take off a little bit of the TLS with your fingers and smooth it out. Otherwise, if you don't take off a little bit of the TLS, then it'll be too sticky and the chalks won't go on nicely. So after that, just kind of push in the ears a little bit more and go over the indents with the paintbrush again, and just make sure it's a bare head shape, and once in a while compare it to the box and make sure it's a shape that you like. So now it's time to color it. Just take some light brown chalk and just dust the ball with it and just make kind of a gradient going up. Make it a little bit more orange on the top and make it darker brown on the bottom so it seems like it's burnt. And then just keep on going until you've covered up the whole biscuit. So now just kind of go over it a little bit more and smooth it out so no parts are uneven and have more coloring than others. And just go over it until you're happy with the way it looks. So now that you're finished with both of them, make sure you're satisfied and then choose which one you want to have the filling coming out of. So take that one and just put it in your pan and bake it for about 2 minutes. Now that it's come out of the oven, just take it out and make sure it's cool enough and set it on your workspace, and just take your blade and cut the bottom off so that you'll have room for some of your filling coming out. Make sure that it's a nice even cut and that it's not crooked or anything. Then take your blade and just start taking out the inside of your biscuit. Make sure that you don't get too close to the edges, otherwise it may crack like mine did. So if that does happen, then just take your blending tool and dip it in a little bit of TLS and coat it with a small layer of TLS and make sure that it's nice and even, and once this bakes it won't be cracked anymore and it'll be good to go. So now that you're finished, it should look something like this. If you want to make milk cream filling, take some white chalk and mix it with some TLS and make sure that it's fully blended and there are no lumps of chalk. To make the strawberry filling, mix some white and some pink chalk with some TLS. For the chocolate, mix some light brown chalk and some dark brown chalk with some TLS. Then just start filling your biscuit with whatever filling you chose. I chose chocolate, and make sure that it's kind of overflowing. So once you're finished, just put it in the pan and bake it for 15 minutes. So now that it's been baked, I'm just going to take it out, and I need to use my blade to get the one with the chocolate filling out because it's stuck to the pan. So just put the blade underneath and it'll just pop right off. Now you want to glaze the filling so it's shiny and it looks realistic. So just put a nice even coat of glaze just on the filling. Don't put any on the biscuit because the biscuit is not supposed to be shiny. And if when the biscuit comes out of the oven you're not happy with the color that it turned out to be, like me, you can just put paint over it and make sure it's even. And then just make sure that you glaze it. So now it's time for my favorite part. Just take any brown marker or pen. I'm using this one from Prismacolor. And just start drawing. You can pick one of the designs that are on the cookies on the box, or you can just come up with a design of your own. It doesn't really matter. And if you do mess up on your drawing, you can just wipe it off with your finger. Just make sure that it doesn't have any time to dry before you wipe it off. Once you've drawn on your design, make sure to fan it so that your drawing doesn't smudge as much later. So now take a little bit of paper towel and dab off your design. And you're all done. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Bye!